morning, students, and welcome back to the online learning platform of Kanodia PG Mahila Mahavidyalaya. Our topic for today is motivation. Motivation is, in simple terms, is a change from I can't do it to I can do it. It is the process how you stimulate people to accomplish desired goals. It is the willingness that is created or it is there inside a person to accomplish a particular task or a desired goal. Motivation, according to Edwin Flippo, can also be defined as the process of attempting to influence others to do your will through the possibility of gain or reward. That means you are trying to influence people, you are trying to inculcate that willingness within an employee to do what you want them to do by either internally motivating them, by creating the willingness internally, or giving them some incentives or rewards so that they are externally motivated to do the work. This internal and external terms that I have used for motivation, we will be discussing this type of motivation in our coming slide. So let us look forward to what motivation means first. Motivation can also be defined as the need or drive within an individual that urges him, that means that forces him towards goal-oriented actions. Now, if we talk about the types of motivation that I was talking about, the types of motivation can be divided into intrinsic, that means internal, and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic means motivation that comes from within. Intrinsic motivation is the one which comes from within an individual, from inside an individual, internally. Whereas extrinsic motivation, extrinsic means external. So if an employee or an individual is motivated through external factors, factors which do not exist within him but they exist in the outside environment and are used to motivate an employee or an individual to accomplish a particular task or a goal. So motivation can be divided either into intrinsic or extrinsic motivation, which is the source from which the motivation comes from, or it can also be divided into positive and negative motivation. The word itself here says positive motivation means you are trying to create the willingness within an employee or an individual. You are trying to motivate an individual by using positive deals, by using positive methods like reward. Positive motivation like reward. That means you can connect the achievement with rewards and use the reward to motivate an employee. For example, you may tell the employee that if he achieves a particular target or a particular goal, he will be rewarded extra benefits like incentives or promotion in jobs or salary increase or an outing free of cost, etc. Here, in case of reward, we are using positive things to motivate the employee, and hence it will be known as positive motivation. Similarly, you can also create a desire within an employee to achieve a particular task or a particular goal. You may tell him the various benefits of accomplishing a goal, which will internally create a desire within an employee to achieve that particular task, and hence he will be internally motivated to achieve that particular task. These two things that I have told you in case of positive motivations, here you can clearly see that desire is something which is coming from within. So desire is one of the methods of creating intrinsic positive motivation. That means you are trying to motivate the employee in a positive way, and by internally creating that sense of achievement within the employee. That is desire to do something. This will be known as intrinsic positive motivation. And on the contrary, if we talk about reward functions, where you are associating some kind of extra rewards or freebies or salary hikes with the achievement, this is something external. You are trying to use the push strategy to motivate the employee to do something in a positive way. This will be positive motivation, but the motivation is given through external factors, and hence this will be known as extrinsic positive motivation. The motivation that is done through reward functions will be called as extrinsic positive motivation. Similarly, if we talk about negative motivation, the word itself clearly shows that you are using negative methods to motivate somebody. Negative methods can be fear or threat. Fear can be fear of losing jobs, fear of demoting somebody, fear of reducing the salary of a person. Again, here you are using the push strategy, but in a negative way, in order to motivate somebody to accomplish a particular task or a particular goal. Now here, since we are using fear as a factor of motivation, fear is something which comes from within an individual, and hence motivating through fear will be intrinsic negative motivation. On the contrary, if we talk about threat is that you are trying to force the person to do something by giving him threats, by forceful acts which are existing in the external environment, and hence motivating through external factor like threat will be called as negative extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic negative motivation. In case of negative motivation, there can also be fear and punishments, or threat of demoting somebody, threat of giving transfers to some other places, threats of wage cuts, retrenchment, etc. All are external factors and also negative factors to motivate people, and hence all these factors would come under negative motivation. So all in all, we have studied types of motivation as intrinsic and extrinsic. That means internal and external motivation. Internal, that comes from within. External, that comes from the external environment, like reward. And other type of motivation is positive and negative. Positive, where you use positive methods of motivating the employees, and negative, where you use the negative methods of motivating the employees, where you associate something negative with the motivation. In some places you can also find a third type of motivation, which is monetary and non-monetary, or financial and non-financial motivations, wherein the word itself is clearly defining the terms. Financial motivation means where you are associating something with the money, monetary motivation, where you can give examples like increase in wages, increase in fringe benefits, etc., bonus. All these would come under financial positive motivations, because I have told you all the examples which are in a positive way motivating the employees, like increase in bonus, increase in rewards, increase in wages. It will be positive monetary motivation. And if you talk about non-monetary motivations, you can give examples like promoting an employee to a higher grade, recognition, promotions, praises, all would come under non-financial motivations, and again positive ones, because I have told you all the examples which are positively motivating the employees. On the contrary, you can take this as negative also, like negative monetary motivation would be reduction in wages, demotions would come under negative non-monetary motivation. So you can connect all the motivation types with each other in a way in which they are used. Again, you can see examples here. Positive motivation towards a goal which is extrinsic from outside. Someone wants you to do it. They will say, write this report and get a bonus. That means they are associating bonus, financial motivation plus a positive motivation to your work. On the contrary, if they say write this report or you are fired, they are attaching fear to it. They are giving you a threat. So this would be negative motivation, and because it is coming from outside, it would be extrinsic negative motivation. Similarly, if you change these statements to I really want to write this report, that means you are internally motivated to write a report because you want to do it. Hence, this would be known as positive intrinsic motivation. It is positive because you want to do it, and intrinsic because you yourself are willing to go for it. And if you see the statement, I really don't want to write this report, that means you are internally not motivated to do it, and hence it is intrinsic negative motivation. So all these types of motivation that we have studied today will be used somewhere or the others in the coming slides and chapters. There are various theories given by various management thinkers regarding motivation. Like we have Abraham Harold Maslow, who gave the need hierarchy theory. There's Herzberg, who gave the hygiene factors and motivators theory. Then we have McGregor, who gave the theory of X and Y. All these theories are used somewhere or the others within an organization to motivate the employees in a way or others. We would be taking the theory of motivation one by one. So let us just go through the first theory, which is a theory of human motivation given by Abraham Harold Maslow. Abraham Harold Maslow gave the need hierarchy theory, in which he defined that humans have different kinds of needs which can be divided into 5 layers of a pyramid. The first need is the physiological need, like food, shelter and clothing, the basic needs that the humans have to be fulfilled. Once these needs are fulfilled, a human moves to fulfill his next higher need, which is the safety need. Safety need as in he would require job security, and socially he would like to be secured enough so that he may continue to have his basic needs till his lifetime. Then the third higher need is the social need or the security need. Security need is where he wants to be social, he wants love, he wants belongingness from his surroundings. He tends to fulfill his social needs at this level. He tries to build relationships with people. He would make more friends with whom he can go out and enjoy, with whom he can pass his time with. And next higher need here is the esteem needs, wherein he tries to fulfill his sense of achievement. He tries to achieve something in an organization. He tries to achieve a position in the organization through this self-esteem needs. And the last need, according to Abraham Maslow, is the self-actualization need, where he wants to achieve this need. This need, according to him, is never achieved in a lifetime. This is something that humans tend to achieve for. They have a vision to achieve this self-actualization, but this is something which will never be achieved, as people believe, Abraham Maslow believed that humans are wanting animals. They always want to achieve something or the other. Once the lower level need is achieved, they would move to the higher level need, and they would keep desiring for more and more. And hence self-actualization, where a human is fully satisfied with what he has, will never be achieved. So these are the five needs that is defined by Abraham Maslow. These needs were defined on the basis of some assumptions, which are that lower level needs must be satisfied first, and then the higher level needs will be satisfied. They will act as a motivator for achieving them. Once the need is achieved or need is satisfied, that need will no longer act as a motivator for humans. And also there are many ways to satisfy higher level needs than there are ways to satisfy the lower level needs. In short, the assumptions of Maslow were that humans are wanting animals and the needs are never satisfied, and hence he categorized the needs into 5 different levels and said that the lower level needs will be satisfied first, and then humans move to achieve the next higher level need. For example, if a human does not have any conveyance with him and he goes to his office by walking, so the first thing he would desire would be a bicycle which he can use to go to and fro from his office to his house. Once he has that bicycle, he would need a electric two-wheeler for himself, like scooty, bike or a scooter, etc. And once he has that two-wheeler, he would desire for another higher level conveyance, which is a four-wheeler, a compact four-wheeler in a decent range which he can afford. Once he has that decent four-wheeler, he would then require or then aspire for higher mechanism four-wheeler, which is like a sedan or an SUV, and the needs go on and on and on. They are never fully satisfied. Humans are never fully satisfied with what they have. So these were the assumptions of Maslow need hierarchy theory. That will be it from my side today. Thank you so much.